But you've helped develop the you and
Bill Armstrong.
Billy, yeah. What's the whole story on that deal? I'd love to shout him out.
Yeah. Bill Armstrong created the Bangshift Billy, and so I have an adjustable slipper clutch. And so what we tried to do is try to figure out how to do the same thing with a hydraulic clutch without having to get underneath your car. So every time I'm under my car adjusting my clutch, he's like, "You adjusting your app?" So what Bill created was basically a modulating box that goes on the hydraulic line to your clutch. And so you can set the bite point. So where you release your clutch and the clutch release the clutch pedal, where the clutch just starts to grab, that's kind of your bite point. And then there's a timer that you can slip the clutch. And, it's very small movements. And so it took a lot of, it probably took us 3 years between the two of us and him working with some engineering firms to get that thing sorted out. But it works really well. So if you have a new Corvette or if you have anything with a hydraulic clutch.
And it just goes inline on the hydraulic side of things. And
literally an app on your phone.
That's super cool. And because it allows you to still run a factory style clutch with like actual diaphragm, not like one of these like weighted slipper clutches where they're all kinds of complex.
Yeah. Every track I have to jack my car up. I loosen the clutch way off for racing. And then before we get back on the street, I jack the car up and have to put base in. And so Bill's always harassing me about having to do that.
And I saw he was at PRI showing it off this year, which was cool. It was cool to see him with a booth with a couple products because that's a fairly new business just in itself, doing all those kind of parts development on this stuff, which is...
Yeah, and you and I were talking about the my steering wheel and the cord. So he also developed something called the Billy button. So it's a wireless button for your steering wheel. So I think that's going to be a bigger hit than the clutch controller just because it can be used for so many different...
Yeah, a lot more people have...
And it's pretty slick. Like the whole time I'm like, man, I hate this cord on my steering wheel. I wish I knew. Oh, yeah, I do know, guys. Yeah. So, I'm like, Bill, we got to get me sorted out because that's a great one. So, yeah, the Billy button and the Bangshift Billy are two amazing products that we're still working on all the details on the Billy button, but he'll have it sorted out pretty quick. So
I feel like when Leroy first showed up at the Dragon Drive stuff, you two had that stick shift kind of between each other.
Yeah.
It was like, who's going to win this year type of thing? Because you guys were both pretty comparable cars.
Yeah.
What car does he have? I know the car. I just don't know what it exactly is.
It's some Ford or something.
Something.
It's a Ford Fairlane.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a Fairlane. Yeah. You see, muscle car knowledge. No idea.
Yeah.
Do you consider a Fairlane a muscle car?
Yeah.
Does that qualify?
Well, I would say that to Bill, but yeah.
Yeah. If he's listening, it's not.
It was funny because when the first time I met Big Chief, I started talking and he's like, "Are you from Canada?" And it was at PR. He's like, "Are you from Canada?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You drive a 65 GTO?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh yeah, I've watched all your videos." He's like, "You travel around with some guy with like a Buick or something," and damn well he knew what the car was, but he was like cutting down. The
Pontiac guy in him had to jab at him a little bit.
Yeah. So Bill's car is a twin turbo small block Ford. He's got the same transmission as me. He uses the slipper clutch, or he uses his app for slipping his clutch and stuff. And
seen you guys rebuild the trans on video at his house on Rocky Mountain Race Week, in a bucket. I guess that's the way to rebuild a T56.
Multiple times, yes.
The bucket method.
The bucket method, yeah. The 5-gallon bucket does work pretty good.
It works for rotaries, actually, too. That's the same. They build it on a 5-gallon bucket as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because you stack stuff. It's kind of the same deal.
Very useful tool, those 5-gallon buckets.
You need like a nice long puller for a T56, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I carry it all with me. And, but yeah, once you've done them enough, you can figure it out. But you got to pull it off, pull the one bearing off, and it's just about a 2-foot pull. So
like a custom built puller just to get the trans apart.
Yeah. Yeah, so Bill's been, it was funny because that's been the joke on our podcast is he's been 870 and I've been 875. So he's always been ahead of me, but I've solved that problem. And I was joking before coming down here. It's like the sick week's the best because if I come down here and beat him, There's not another event for a long time.
And he's at altitude.
So he's at altitude.
Yeah, he's got to come down to Sick Week to try that. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.